Alright, so today we're going to fix a MacBook with no backlight by replacing the coil. So let me just go over how you can see that the coil is what's wrong with this. Here we have Sonny and Mark from Practical Board Repair School. So this is a MacBook Air screen that I use for testing. It looks like shit, which is why it gets used for testing. We're going to plug it in. Now a couple of quick measurements here with the multimeter. Where can you actually see the multimeter? No. Right, barely, but what the hell. So on backlight output, diode mode measurement to ground, there is no short, 0.523. On the either side of the coil, I have 0.392 and 0.415. Now when we turn it on, we're going to go back to voltage mode. Wait for the screen to activate. Come on, you little shit. Turn on. Okay, on one side of the coil we have 8.54 volts. And on the other side of the coil we have 0.2 volts. And since there's no short, that means that the coil is probably bad. So we get the hot air station on, wait for it to heat up, and we replace the coil. And there's a good chance that once we replace the backlight coil, which does all the backlight boosting, that we'll have a backlight. Mark, do you have your t-shirt?
It's in the luggage in Sonny's car. It's never the coil, except that one time.
It's never the coil, except for when it is.
What's the password to your front desk computer? I'll print that out and stick it.
If I say the password to my front desk computer on a YouTube video, a bunch of kids from 4chan are going to find my IP and hack it.
You cut that out.
Come on, HAKKO, heat up faster, you fuck.
You need like 7 trucks.
Come on. If you have the air below 10 on this piece of crap and the heat up, it just decides to die for a long period of time. Like, I can't even burn myself with this now, and it's...
You should get one of those nice JVC hot air stations.
Yeah, it's $1,500. I want it. I want one. I'll take one if JBC wants to give it to me. I am known for my positive endorsements
Wait.
of people who send me stuff for free.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can sell a lot of them.
Maybe not.
If you're using videos.
Maybe not. Oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. Okay. Time to heat up that coil. Now there was a little bit of corrosion by the coil, so I decided to go over that nastily with solder.
Does it beat side to side with the coil?
Now the bottom is leaded solder, whereas the top is lead-free solder, so you can get a good idea of how much more difficult it is to melt one versus the other. Wow, it really, really is the coil. So check it out. A piece of the coil is stuck on the motherboard. See that? See this right over here? That is coil. And that is fucked.
And that's from water damage, right?
Yeah.
It's not wet yet.
Okay.
Just have a jumper you have to run to keep that on.
Yep. One.
Same thing I did to fix your board. Why does it look down?
Oh no, the board that I want us to steal the coil from is missing the coil. Somebody else must have used that to fix another board that had also had a bad backlight coil. This must be an epidemic. Yeah, this one has a coil, thank God. I'm going to go back to removing the coils. Jessa Jones at iPad Rehab would be so happy that we learned so much from her course that I didn't even have to do any estimating. You know, we just checked the first thing that it said to check on the slide in the presentation. Go air filter. Go gadget air filter. Come back. Get the fuck over. Oh. Never breathe that shit. I have to check and make sure this is recording. It would be a fucking crime if this were not recording. Excellent, it is. I don't trust the computer. Alright, go back here. Let's try to melt the solder on the board before we place the coil. This will make life easier. I'm using the wrong tip for this because my tips were in my luggage. I don't even have a grip right now. I'm using this as a soldering iron. Not exactly the best thing in the world, but let's see what it can do. I notice I have a lot more accuracy when I'm using a grip than when I don't have a grip. Oh well. Good enough for rock and roll.
No, it's never the coil thing. It's like when something fails in the circuit in absence
You don't have to
physical
defend, you don't have to
damage.
defend yourself.
No. And obviously, if it gets rusted, then it's going to go bad.
That shirt doesn't say a thing about disclaimers. It doesn't say it's never, except for that 1% of the time that it is. Never means never. You know, your parents always said, like, never say never. But in that case, never actually meant never. Oh, fuck off. Fuck you, piece of shit. Okay, what the fuck?
There must have been two parts.
Yeah, so now I need feedback as well. At least I'm up to 8. That's good.
Yeah, 8 on each side feedback.
Yeah, you know that.
Okay, so we've graduated a little bit. Whoops. It's still plugged in.
It's not ideal.
Should I fix whatever else? Or was wrong with
Oh.
it?
That doesn't mean it wasn't the coil. It was just the coil in addition to some other things.
That's why you gotta.
I didn't see replacement coil.
You gotta cut this part of the video into the first half, and then you fix the coil.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
This video is not getting uploaded.
Let's see, where's my feedback veer? I didn't put it there properly, most likely. Yep, it's clearly not even touching. That's a joke. That is some shit soldering right there. That is some cock and ball soldering right there.
Yeah, my jumper didn't come off.
Okay, so now what I need here is the curvy tip, which I hope to God was not left in Victor, New York. Okay. Please give me...
Packed it, so not my fault. Yeah.
If Sonny didn't pack it, he's paying for dinner.
Yes.
I feel like that's very fair.
Oh, where's the dinner plate?
Fuck. I'm paying for dinner. Okay.
What's 54 feet? What's it called? MAGE?
This is. How do you feel about this whole articulating stand, Mark?
I fucking hate it
Why? Is it this?
because it's too.
Look at this thing too. Check this out. Look at what it does.
Oh no, that you gotta turn them in opposite directions and it tightens it up. Like turn one. That
Oh.
way, one the other way.
Oh,
No other way.
dude, you're a genius. You did that worked.
Yeah.
840.
But it's, with my double boom, when it gets run in the house, it just shakes. So that thing would just be unusable.
Okay, feedback is there.
Now we're gonna have backlight, and it wasn't the coil; it was the feedback.
It was the coil and the feedback. We had 0.2 volts over there before. I really was hoping that this would be one where it was just the coil. Because that would have been funny.
Yeah. Well, it was the sharks were gonna say it's never the coil except for when it is, but there was not enough room on them.
That only fits on the XL version. Come on.
Does the Jesus light up in the back?
Hey, this one turns on and turns off and turns on and turns off and turns on and turns off and mofo! Oh shit, I didn't put the latch on. Hot dog! And the Jesus does light up in the back. I should edit that because that identifies the customer.
So now we gotta get new shirts that say one time it was the coil.
One time it was the coil.
Besides that one time.
So that's generally what you want to check first when you're troubleshooting, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure the coil's good.
Make sure the coil is good, because it frequently goes bad. You'll have to use the coil setting on your multimeter. They don't have that on the Fluke 15B. They only have that on the higher end models.
Yeah. You need to drop like 2K on a multimeter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that maybe the $40,000 Agilent analyzer.